Don't you dare be sour. Clap for your world-famous 8-time champs and feel the power.
Wait! I can't believe it! Yes! Yes! A Rock is going to WrestleMania! Randy in position for another curb stop. Oh, my! Unbelievable counter! Oh, my God! Unbelievable!
Oh, A2D Radio! We are back. It is Friday night, September 20th. It is 10:30 on the East Coast, 9:30 in Central Time, and it is time for another episode of In This Very Ring. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I am the man they call Ritz. And joining me as he does each and every Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of Toasty Town, this is Butters!
What's up?
Such a weird bastard, I swear. Pete Evans, the OGP of A2D, will be along very shortly. But before we do that, before we bring Pete in, because he's not in the back end yet, anticlimactic, we're going to thank some sponsors. We're going to thank Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed bread, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. Football is here. Get your spread at Baggio's Bread. Butters. What an interesting little web we have weaved this week of what we're going to talk about. This is kind of your brainchild, if we're going to be honest. You know, Butters has been putting together the show. You know, it's been no secret off and on for the last about year, maybe even 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this 100% is all Butters. I touched nothing other than shortening down the poll question. Like, literally, I didn't touch the title. I didn't touch the description. All I did was took the poll question. It was very wordy, and we shortened it down. And we're not talking about the bloodline. We're not talking about the Judgment Day. We're not talking about the awesome Cody and Roman promo from tonight. But we will. No, we're going to kick things off with a little New Day conversation. Xavier Woods will break up the New Day's decade-long reign of positivity. Agree, disagree. But before we do that, we set the stage. As you know, Xavier Woods was doing battle with Karrion Kross, and there's that almost like Karrion Kross curse, Karrion Kross effect. Everybody that he's ever interacted with has changed in some way, shape, or form. It was kind of like what happened to Bray Wyatt, way back when. You know, anytime that somebody wrestled Bray, they would end up kind of changing a little bit. Let me send Pete an invite. We're having a little bit of issue here, so let me send that to him real quick. Hold, please. But there'd always be that little bit of issue. And what's he say? Okay. Let me send this over to him while I'm doing that. Always be that little, they would change a little, and it would be, just somebody totally, they become somebody totally different. What's this? Got it. And so now with Xavier Woods doing battle against Karrion Kross, now we're kind of seeing, sorry guys, we had a little bit of a logistical issue. Had to get Pete the invite over there because he got locked out from the producer side of things. So getting him in.
Of course,
sorry about that. But anyway, we've always seen these people that have interacted with Karrion Kross change a little bit. I mean, hell, that's why we ended up having the Judgment Day and in the beginning anyway, because Ed had his battle with Karrion, AJ had his battle with Karrion. We saw AJ change. And so now we're starting to see Xavier Woods start to change and start to be a little bit more serious and get frustrated with Kofi. This was very evident when they brought in Odyssey Jones, essentially rounding out the New Day, replacing Big E as that big man role as they were going up against, you know, what is it, Final Testament? Yeah, the Final Testament.
Yeah.
Right? So, but now Odyssey's out of the picture, so now we're focusing on the tag titles. And we're starting to see Xavier getting really frustrated, whether it be with the referee on Monday night or it's Kofi, with Kofi making some of these decisions. While yes, Kofi is the veteran, Kofi is the senior, the New Day has always acted as a group that shares ideas, that collaborates together, doesn't go and make decisions for the group without consoling the group. And so now, as we're gearing up for this match for the tag team titles, the question everybody's wondering is the New Day finally going to break up? Big E's sidelined with the neck injury, probably retired. Don't think he's coming back. And now you've got Kofi, who has done it all. He's been a world champion. He's been a Intercontinental champion. He's been a U.S. champion. He's been a tag team champion. Right? He's done it all. Could he be ready to start retiring? He's been in the business for almost 20 years, if not longer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But here's Xavier Woods. We're really, and this is no disrespect to Xavier because he's got an impressive resume. But when you look at his stuff, on, he did some stuff down in NXT that was great. He did some stuff in TNA that was great. When you look at what he's got on the main roster, it's really just tag title runs and then the King of the Ring. He's never positioned himself in a solo career, really, since coming to the main roster because he's always been with Kofi and Big E. And for a while there, he was just a guy on the outside while he was working on getting his degree and everything like that. He really focused on being outside, being a good manager, while those two did all the work. Well, now Xavier is a great wrestler. And now is it Xavier's time to shine? While he systematically also destroys something that people have been, that has been worked on for years.
Mm-hmm.
Has been a tried, true, and tested formula of success. Before, Butters, we get you to answer the poll question. Ladies and gentlemen, he's here. The OGP of A2D, Mr. Pete Evans.
What up, party people? You already know what it is. The best in the biz. Any timeline, any place, anytime, anywhere. I'm the infinity gauntlet of the shit that we call
I'm the
WWE talk or wrestling talk
of this shit.
Hey man, every week is gonna be something different, yo.
I'm here for it, but we just kind of set the stage.
Okay.
Of where our poll question comes from and everything like that. Butters was about to give his answer. I think it's very important though. Pove trios tonight. Dare I say this is a new record. Two back-to-back shows where we've had everybody. But Butters, lay it on me. What do you got?
Man, listen. It was a shit show Monday night on the back end of what we do, so we couldn't go live, and I got blocked out of everything.
I did. So did I. I'm on a totally different email because I couldn't remember what my old one was that I was logged into here. I didn't think we were going live at all. But you know what? In hindsight, if you watch the ending of that game Monday night, it was probably a blessing that there was no post show.
I mean, it would have made for very entertaining A2D content.
I had $100 on Tom and Chuck's fighting before it was over.
They were actually on the same page.
Oh, were they?
They were on. Everybody was frustrated.
We're getting off topic.
It's like the perfect booking that you have. All right, a la SummerSlam 2013. Cena versus Bryan Danielson. And he wins, psycho knee, and Money in the Bank gets cashed in. How upset that everybody was there.
Yeah, fair.
That's what they could have done. It was right there in front of them, and then they pissed it away.
They did. So. But it's poll question. Answer it. Let's rock.
No.
Well, good night, everybody.
Oh man. Yes, I do believe Xavier. I'm gonna agree to the poll. I do believe Biggie will come back a little bit, but only in the capacity of trying to keep the New Day together. Only for Xavier to just say screw it all and break up the New Day. You know, he stated nothing can break up the New Day, but pretty much himself. And do what?
He froze, and I thought it was me. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, but at the end of the day, I mean, look at his frustrations from this past Monday. I mean, honestly, if I was him, I'd have punched that ref square in the face. I'm sorry. It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
To be worried about everybody laid out on the outside, well, you got to, I get it, it's wrestling. But at the end of the day, refs need to pay attention to both, the in-ring action and less on the out-ring action. So, but I will agree to the poll.
Yeah, I thought the Monday, the spot with the ref Monday, it just came across really, really weird. The way the ref was positioned, like I don't know. I
feel like something different was supposed to happen in that spot, and it didn't.
It was just, I don't know. It didn't sit right with me. I watched it back because I was obviously watching the game, right? So I was keeping my eye, and I thought my plan was originally have one up on the screen here, have one on the iPad, and that didn't work for me. I barely got to watch the second half. My stream was so shoddy, but I saw the clip on Twitter, on X, and just watching, I was like, no, this doesn't work for me. Before we get over to Mr. Pete Evans, Daly disagrees with the poll. Thinks it's a little too predictable. They broke up a couple of teams lately and switched factions. I can see them patching up the New Day. He goes on over to YouTube to continue. I don't like Xavier, but I don't think he has what it takes to be a great singles competitor. He's great as a tag team. I'll disagree with that till I blew in the face. The Godfather's here. Mr. Tom Arnone. Yo, my guy. What's up, Tommy? Greg Milakovic's also here. What's up, Greg? Todd Womack. Robert Povia.
What's up, gentlemen?
And Tom, he agrees to the poll. But he thinks.
He thinks.
I think he does. I'll take it, I think. Pete, what say you?
I think it is predictable, like Daly said, but I'm still here for it. I agree. And I think I'm on the same wavelength as you, Ritz, where we've seen Consequences Creed in TNA. It was a long time ago, but we've seen it, and he was very, very young then. Talented, multifaceted, and all the external distractions that we've seen in the New Day go through over 10 years, whether it was heels, whether it was face, whether it was against the Usos, whether it was against Cesaro and Sheamus. I'm trying to think other tag teams, Viking Raiders, what you can go on. It was always, okay, we're the good guys, bad shit just happens to us, right? Now he realizes, like, yo, like maybe Karrion was right. And to be honest, we haven't seen the Final Testament in 3-4 weeks, which I think is ingenious because of the fact of Karrion Kross planted those seeds to the point where we had a one-on-one with Xavier versus Cross, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Woods won that in a schoolboy type of short, like surprise finish fashion. And then Odyssey happens. Obviously, you know what happened with him. And then now you get this tumble, right?
For just a second.
Go ahead.
I think that's why we haven't seen a lot of the Final Testament.
Because that makes sense. Because then at that point, it's what, 5-on-2? I mean, 4.5 if you count.
It was really the same stuff we'd still had.
Yeah, it would have been back to square one. The biggest thing, and once again, I'll go back to Daly's comment. It's hard to patch that up when in any argument that you may have in any capacity, whether it be like from a relationship level, whatever, your partner, your significant other, to work, to parental, to friends. If somebody tells you, why does he or she know the plan about what we're doing before I do? That you got to think, that's where Woods left Kofi on Monday night. So you ask for help. They know more about our tag match than the person that's your actual tag partner. What is going on with you? So one or two things are going to happen. Either it's going to break up, which is probably the most likely scenario, or a swerve is Kofi comes aboard and says, you know what? You're right. I was an asshole. We haven't been winning. You heard him emphasize on Monday night. They haven't had the tag strap since 2019. 2019. Yep. It's been 5 years. But above all that, they've also said that Woods, they're situated that Woods has never had any singles gold at all. He doesn't need a strap. Like, this is 10 years in the making. This is the payoff you want to see. It's not about where Woods, eventually some point where Woods, because you remember he is the king of the ring. He was the king of the ring before he was it 2022? And he beat AJ in that match, if I'm not mistaken, in the finals, right? So he has had some accomplishments, and we are probably going to see E in some form of capacity woven into this story somewhat, because you can't just throw away 10 years like that. You see how they played out Jimmy and Jay. This is damn near almost that, just not actual blood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think, right, and you hit a great point. You both hit a lot of really, really good points, right? But to Pete, kind of going off what you said right there at the end, how it's very similar to Jimmy and Jay, and we're going to weave Big E into this. I was talking about this earlier today with a colleague of mine, and you can bring Big E back and have him be that voice of reason between the two, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, I can't do this anymore, but you two still can. You can finish what we started. You can continue what we started. But Big E could also come back and be the voice of reason for Xavier. And look at Kofi and go, hey, I had my moment. I had my moment where I got to go out there and I got to win the WWE title and be on the mountaintop and have my own music and everything like that. You had Kofi Mania. And I don't need to say any more off of that. Woods hasn't had that yet.
Yep.
So let's get out of his way. Because if you do it that way, if you do it to where, hey, we're good. We're gonna go over here, right? We're gonna do our thing. We've been at the mountaintop. It's your time to climb. Right? You preserve the New Day, which whether they have the straps or they don't have the straps, everybody likes the New Day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they're always going to make money. They're always going to be a cash cow that just keeps turning the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the factions WWE's broken up. I mean, this is the one faction I really don't want to see broken up.
You're not breaking them up.
Right.
Right? It frees up Kofi to go do something. You know, maybe he's the next one in line for Braun. Right? I think it would be Xavier if Braun drops the title, which I think is coming soon.
Yeah.
Right? I think we're going to move some pieces around here. Or we see Xavier jump over to SmackDown and go after the United States title. Right? Especially if he takes this more serious, not a heel tone, right? But I'm done with the games. I'm done with, you know, I have master's degrees and, you know, this, that, and the other thing.
I would love to see Woods come out, and even though Karrion planted those seeds, him to have essentially what you're saying is a proverbial edge to his persona, but do it in a way to where, yes, I am cocky, I am that smart. Come out in a suit, glasses, what have you, PhD, do whatever you want to do. He
what
could do
they thought the New Day was going to be.
Right. You know what I mean? You could do that. Or I'm also cool with the fact of if he does somewhat join the Final Testament, because then I get that payoff, right? And then you can even do the whole, we're going to let you do your thing. I apologize. And then it's really so much, all right, Kofi gave him the pass. Well, Kofi said, all right, do your thing. Woods gives him the pass, and then you still have him turn because he's just that frustrated because of the fact that, like you said, E had his moment. I wish it would have been longer, but it was just time. It is what time it is. and obviously Kofi Mania, right? He's jealous of that. He resents that, and he's kept all this in. It doesn't have to be something quick. It can be a slow build, and then I just don't know. Maybe you could take E out with his knee or something. Like that's instant heat. If E comes out and they're all in the ring, they have this talk, whatever else like that. They don't do anything. Then the next week, same thing happens. Next week, something different happens, and then ultimately, you have this close over week where Woods keeps pushing the edge. He keeps getting closer to going over it. Keeps going closer to going over it. E keeps coming out to stop him. Maybe Kofi comes out to stop him. 1 week you have both come out, and then he takes them both out. Obviously, he can't do nothing with E. With E above the belly button. But you can damn sure he could take a steel steps to a knee. He could do that. He could sell that. Then
I gotta stop you because the one thing, and I've been sitting on it because I let you keep going. The one thing out of everything you said that I don't agree with and really just sours me to it. I don't want him joining the Final Testament.
Okay.
Because what has worked so well for Karrion Kross since his debut on the main roster has been this this unofficial Karrion Kross curse almost. Right? The Karrion Kross touch, whatever you want to call it. Where people have changed after they've wrestled Karrion.
Yeah. He's changed after himself.
Also, yes. He's changed. They've changed. And they don't interact with him after. Right? They he beat Karrion.
That is true. I missed that point. Good
right?
point.
And he moves on. Right? Karrion goes and does his thing. That's another reason why they're not on TV. They have nothing for them to do yet. Because that was the other smart thing that we always did with Karrion. We always kept Karrion away just long enough to where when he come back, it's like, all right, now who's he gonna mess up? Right? Oh my God, he just went after Cody Rhodes. Right, whatever that case may be, and I just picked the first person that came to mind.
I have the perfect storyline for Karrion, and we haven't seen it for a while.
We'll get to that later.
Yep.
But now Xavier gets to take this poisoned soul that he now has, this corrupted soul, and we get to mold it. Are we going to mold it to where he goes full on heel and just start laying waste to the New Day or the Prophet?
You mean like almost like Karrion's interaction is like a virus. It's slowly. Okay.
But what I really like about the quote unquote virus is a lot of these guys don't turn full blown heel. They just get edgier. Right. And they get a little more serious. And they get a little bit more, rough and tough and violent. We perceive them as heels, but when you take a step back, like even let's go back to Edge. When Edge and Karrion had their feud, and then Edge forms the Judgment Day. They're not heels. Right? They weren't really heels until they hit Beth with the No, that was after. Yeah, they weren't really heels until they hit Beth with the concerto.
Yeah.
Later down the line. Right? They were just kind of, all right, they're assholes, but we're here for it, kind of assholes.
Yeah. I'm with Don on that comment right there, because I'm actually thinking to myself. I mean, bro, Kofi's been there almost 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But at the same time, as much as we say Kofi's been there 20 years, and you look at some of these guys like an AJ Styles, like a Randy Orton, like even a Kevin Owens and a Sami Zayn, right? Some of these guys that have been here before the pandemic. We still have also a lot of fresh blood. Braun Breaker, Gunther. Even though Gunther was there before the pandemic, but Gunther's in a new role, right? Tiffany Stratton, A-Town Down Under.
Grayson is pure money, bro.
The bloodline, the bloodline 2.0. We've got the fresh blood.
Right.
right? And then you have to look at NXT. NXT is the breeding ground for this fresh blood. And there's a lot of good stars down there. Like I week in and week out, and I'll give him props now, and I'll give him props again later. Tony D'Angelo has become such
bro.
incredible talent. That prison era, like where he was in prison, they were doing all the little vignettes and the visitation stuff. That turned something for him, and it was great. Donna goes, okay. I just want to see Joe Hendry.
Don't we all?
Amen. He appears. God, I need that as a button. I need that as a button back here.
But no, very well said. I like it, and I would just love to see Woods with his own entrance music. Shout outs to WWE finally moving on from Death Rebel. They 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10, they got it right. But like to go back to your point, like you look at the guys that have been there before the pin, and what's different about Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Karrion Kross, Gunther, a la Walter.
There's another
all these guys that have been there.
Oba.
Yes, and dude, he's only 26.
It's annoying.
That is really Kofi's been there this long, and Kofi never was on the independent scene. Having 15 years in the industry is one thing. Having 15, 16 years solely with WWE, that's rarefied air.
100%.
Rare him, Miz, like we're not appreciative enough. But I think Kofi's going to start to transition to that kind of Miz role, right? Woods hasn't had that spotlight by himself as a single star, and he has been. He's the youngest one, and you said edgier, right? I never thought I would see Jey Uso be as edgy as he could ever be, a la minus Jimmy, and say I would dog walk your ass wearing pink geek glasses. Like, come on, bro. Like you see what I'm saying? Like, it's little things like that, but I love where it's going. It adds another layer. Like we said, there's so many different directions that we could have went with tonight's topic on this show, right? And to really give them this just due, because when it's all said and done, I mean, you literally got to watch probably arguably not the biggest, not the fastest, not the strongest tag team ever, but someone that holds their place as one of the greatest tag teams and factions of all time.
If they do this, one, the build to this has been great. It will have been subtle. It will have been just the right amount where it's flown under the radar for so long. And when it happens, and if you do it right, and you let them just hit and on every point, it could be the greatest thing this year, right? And yeah, we've had Rock, Roman, Cody, and all that. That's designed to be great.
Yeah.
Right? When you're already great, you can't be great. You should be better than great.
It's one thing to be great and expected. It's one thing to be great and unexpected.
Yeah, and for it to have become organic.
Yep.
And that's what I think can happen with this Xavier Woods move. I think so. For me, and we're half an hour in. I haven't even answered the poll question yet. Right? I am going to take the middle road here, and because here's why, and it's solely based on the wording of my answer.
LA Knight, Todd.
On my answer, I think Xavier Woods will break up the New Day's decade-long reign of positivity while still preserving the New Day bond.
Like Red Hood style? Is that what is that
pretty much?
Okay.
Right? Like kind of go off and do his own thing and still say, hey, like we talked about, right? They give him the room to go do that. Knowing full well later down the line, 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to do this one more time before we all retire.
Yep. I mean, that wasn't my first thought, but that's more layers to what I was already thinking. I just find that a little bit more difficult. But with the way Trips is doing things right now, subtly, and especially with Raw going back to 2 hours in 2 weeks, I think what he's doing is great because you spoke about Final Testament. Haven't seen it in a while for whatever reason. New Day was being booked. They were losing here, losing there, losing here, losing there. And then you never would have thought you would have saw this story, but Chips probably saw this and he was planting those seeds the whole time. There's another faction that we haven't seen in about 2 or 3 weeks. You see what I'm saying? So where I'm going with this is, at this point, Final Testament, Akon Braves are cool. Still do that. Have Karrion Kross come back with the ball head. Have him choke the shit out of Uncle Howdy. You see what I'm saying? That Final Testament, because you need a faction. That's the only other faction on Raw. And then you got 2 eerie, whatever you want to call it, spooky, kooky things. And it's Halloween time, but you got them on different sides. And here's why I say that, right? It's because of the fact of you had Uncle Howdy, the Wyatt 6, Wyatt 6'6", is kind of the clean cut, American made, suits and all that, this, that, and third. Final Testament is completely different. And remember, once again, this is why I say it's different. It's because the Wyatt 6, they were on the prowl. They were the aggressor to war.
I think with the Wyatt 6, right? You have a group that they're almost like.
Let's put it this way: the Wyatt 6 is beating the evil out of everybody, while the Final Testament is trying to beat the good out of everybody.
Right.
Exactly.
I was trying to feel like a demonic angel of justice kind of thing, right? I was trying to see if there's a better way to word that. Right. You know what I mean? So, but that's exactly what they're doing. Butters, you put it wonderfully, maybe not as eloquently, but you put it wonderfully, where they are going out and they're beating the injustice out of people. And here you have Karrion kind of feeding that injustice. They're the perfect yin and
like
yang.
You already said, right? You said no one's the same after they cross them. So Karrion can then go, proverbially, go kick the hornet's nest.
But then here would be an interesting plot twist.
Uh-huh.
Because of the Wyatt 6 and who they are, and how quote unquote they're the manifestation of all these different components and things like that. What's to say that it's almost like a trap card played, right? Right, like a reverse spell, and instead of the Wyatts being affected by this quote unquote Karrion curse, Karrion is affected by it.
You can go that route too, and that leads them
this internal struggle within the Final Testament where Scarlett's still like, wait, what are you doing? We need to stay on this path of destruction. And you have Paul Ellering, who is just a psychopath all of himself, right? Still giving the orders and the marching orders for AOP. And now you've taken the Final Testament and created a internal battle within themselves while he's not really fighting them, but he's also not, his heart's not in it anymore. But then you have Scarlett, who is this evil angel, and we're supposed to be taking the disciples that are our AOP and rolling ruckshaw all over the WWE universe. You know what I'm talking about? Infinity Gauntlet and glove. It's your Thanos with I don't even know what to call it. Personality disorder.
It could be. Now, here's my only thing, right? We all know we can sit here and say with the Y6, Uncle Howdy is their leader. Does not need to be anywhere around the title picture. I guess my ultimate goal is if there was ever a time to get Karrion back to the level he was at when he was first called up with the time clock entrance that we all wanted to see, now would be that. Essentially is You don't have to have Karrion go over, what have you, but this is a way he can come out of this and get back to that Karrion Kross a la 2020. Because that dude, we thought, everybody was saying, I want to see this entrance at a WrestleMania. I want to see him at a
even,
he was
I think
on
you
that
take that entrance,
right?
and you combine it with the end of his NXT run, where he was in the suits, and especially when he has that moment in front of Regal, and it's where Samoa Joe comes out and essentially says, "I'll choke you out," right? And you have that carrying as well. I think it's money. I think you could print money off of the canvas.
Yep, I agree.
Right. But I want to transition a little bit. We have about 25 minutes left. This conversation went a lot longer than I thought it was going to go. Butters, fantastic job with the poll question. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
The way you played that reverse spell card, he didn't agree with, by the way. I don't know. He would have played a different card.
I was just shaking my head because I knew where he went with that.
I went nerdy. I'm rewatching it, by the way, Butters. So I was watching it before I got home. So that's why it's all just there. For those of you wondering, talking Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh.
And it hit my TikTok.
The OG one, the first one with Pegasus?
OG one. Yeah.
Okay.
It hit my TikTok and I was like, there's got to be a place for me to watch this somewhere, right?
Netflix.
And so it's on Hulu.
Oh.
And so I've just been when we get off this show, it's going on my TV while I play Fortnite.
I was about to say I binge watched it a few months back on Netflix when it was on Netflix.
You mean the game that's Call of Duty Twilight version with sparkles and crystals and stuff?
Shut up. Anyway,
all right, you change your gears. So change them.
Anyway, let's kind of shift a little bit before we get into any other This Week in Wrestling stuff. I want to ask, did everybody see the promo tonight between Cody Rhodes?
I'm sorry.
Okay. And that's why I want to do this now instead of later.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. We were all getting ready for the show, getting home, everything like that. I caught it on X. It's like there's an 8-minute video on X, on WWE's X page.
Okay.
It's the full segment because they have other sound bites from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the full segment. Watch it. It's Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns on the field at Georgia Tech. That is all I'm gonna say.
They are both he went to Georgia Tech. Cody's from Georgia. Georgia Tech, by the way, is right in the smack dab center of the hood of Atlanta. Like if you drop Temple in Camden, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or drop University of Houston in the 5th Ward in Houston. Exactly. That's where Georgia Tech is at. Like you on the campus one moment, you can get robbed as soon as you turn the corner, player.
It was incredible. The ending to it is incredible. So you definitely have to watch that. But let's go to Raw Monday night.
Okay.
Monday Night Raw.
And we've been watching the Judgment Day, and we've been watching this Terror Twins bit. And I have a question. Is it
I might have an answer.
Shut up. Is it frustrating to watch week in and week out as we build for Bad Blood? Liv and Rhea never really being able to get her hands on Liv.
Because we know she kicked around like a damn rag doll.
Damian always in what seems to be a 4-on-1 situation. Right? And then you find out that Finn was egging Dom to go after Liv.
So when he took the hotel key, he took it for the benefit of Dom.
Yeah. So that is it just frustrating to see? All right. this is all building though up to Bad Blood. Is this over after Bad Blood? Because if it's not, then what?
I think Damien and Finn is over, and
No, Damien and Finn is not going to be over. I think that's going to stretch out a little longer.
I think once again we talked about carrying, right? How Trips is doing it the smart way and not you don't feel like he's going out of his way to do it. This is solely Trips biding Finn's time to get him back once again to the level of where he thought he should have been at once he was crowned the inaugural Universal Champion. Because they ultimately made the Judgment Day weaker. With Rhea and Priest in the Judgment Day, you have Finn. He can't. When you just look at that picture, you're not picking him out as the leader. You're not picking him out as the aggressor. Whereas now, how they ended Monday Night Raw, I can see Finn at some point holding a singles title.
And I think he should. I was a big Finn Balor fan.
Yes.
Right? I'm not a big heel Finn Balor fan. I just don't think it works for him. At least this kind of
see the Prince DeWitt stuff, and now he's their OG.
But what I'm saying is this kind of heel, right?
Okay.
It's just not working for me, and it hasn't for a long time. I would love to see him come back as just like the Balor Club, but it's just more like almost like Bullet Club style, where they were just running rucksaw over everybody.
You just want to see people get a little rough around the edges. That's what I
do, because I'm so tired of some of these storylines. I don't want to say being predictable, right? I don't think that's fair, but some of these storylines just being very cookie cutter, cut and dry. Right? We're about to enter an era where
it's about to get turned up in January.
Yeah, so let's start getting there. Let's not make it be so rushed or abrupt come January 3rd or whatever the hell it is. Right? Let's ease into it. Let's start doing it now. You're putting yourself in a position where the next 4 months doesn't matter what you put on the TV. One, because you're 2 hours. Two, you're never going back to taking Raw back to USA Network if this goes well. Have fun with it.
Well, I think that's what I was about to say. I just had to start. So come February, you're going to have 6 hours, 8 hours of WWE television, 2 hours NXT. I heard SmackDown's going to 3 because that's the only show that's going to be in USA. And then we already know Raw's going back to 3 when they get to Netflix.
USA that wants the 3 hours. It's not the WWE that wants the 3 hours. My understanding is USA wants 5 hours of WWE I'm sorry, not USA. Of 5 hours. They want the 3 hours of WWE programming because they're losing the NXT to the CW, and the CW wants their 2 hours as well. Right.
3 hours SmackDown, here we come.
Yeah.
So let's do this, and let's
meanwhile, AEW is keeping their deal on the wraps. The networks are begging for more WWE content.
We were doing so good.
I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry. And then also the Martian, he says
44 minutes in, and we didn't mention those morons.
Finn
that's
doesn't
a record.
have the to pull off a serious heel. Just go back. His heelness is not in. He's cocky. It's not in the accent. It's just the charisma he has to have people be drawn towards him. That's what made the Bullet Club. And what that means is Judgment Day doesn't need to stop at 5. They don't need to stop at 5. You see what I'm saying? This can just keep growing and growing and growing and growing.
You could have a faction of it over on SmackDown, like a presence over on SmackDown, and
it's the modern day NWO. Got it.
Yeah, but I think different. It's not all right. We beat you. You're part of the team now.
Right.
It's almost going to be like take the NWO and take Aces and Eights at its peak, and kind of merge them together. Where their NWO was everywhere, Aces and Eights were everywhere, but Aces and Eights only attacked when it served their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't just go out and beat everybody like the NWO did. The NWO, if you weren't wearing black and white, you were getting your ass kicked.
Yep.
Where now, as the Judgment Day, if you have this massive empire, this massive army of people, and they're going out and they're just cleaning the clocks of people that go against their mission,
Mm-hmm.
you could have something magical with that too.
Yep.
But my question, and another question I have is, where does Jey Uso fall into all of this? While yes, he is the number one contender for,
do you believe he's winning?
he needs
No.
to. Because if
He
he doesn't,
needs to. That's the problem. They keep putting him like we keep getting him so close.
So here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen. Look.
I say this every time, and I'm gonna let you do it, but you can't call yourself the main event if you can't win in the main event.
Here's what they're gonna do. He's losing. Sammy's losing. They're gonna win the tag titles, and then they're gonna go help Roman. I mean, they're making it way too obvious. They both said they want to run at the tag titles. You take away the titles off the New Day. Roman's going to need help. What better than, OG Bloodline members? Jimmy's got to be back soon. It's all falling into place.
I think it's the
I don't
smartest
know.
thing in
I
the
don't
world.
know if Jimmy's going to be back, man.
I think he will be.
I
He's
don't.
been mentioned a lot.
I haven't watched the
He's
8 minute thing.
mentioned
Go ahead.
a lot
Yeah.
lately.
I think it's going to be Cody.
What?
I think that 5-on-5 Cody's going to be Jim. That I actually wouldn't mind that, because if we do the 5-on-5 when we get the Survivor Series, if it is Cody, Roman, Jay, and Sammy,
And Jimmy, that's 5.
no, is that 5? I can't fucking count.
Hold on. Let's assume for a second they do 4-on-4. So that's
Right.
what they've been doing.
You see what I'm saying?
Well,
Right,
but
because it's easy to do 4-on-4 right now.
if
right?
you watch tonight's segment, Cody is not teaming with him at Survivor Series.
Not yet. They would have to get to that point.
No, but we're on to something.
I don't
here.
think
We're
in any
to something.
capacity is he teaming
We're
with him
all
at Survivor
kind of
Series.
touching this at different points.
Okay.
I do think if Jim, let's assume for a second, Jimmy is not coming back in time for Survivor Series. How do you do this with no Jimmy and not bringing in another member of the Anoa'i family because they haven't graduated high school yet?
I mean, there's somebody on the other side that's supposed to be making his appearance at some.
Right. I was just trying to be funny.
I know. The big boy, the tree.
Right. But
So that would make 5, and then you have
Correct.
Jimmy come back then. But okay,
But
I gotta watch this segment because you guys are very adamant that that's not
here's
happening.
another element to this. Let's assume for a second they say 4-on-4.
Right.
Jimmy's not coming back, and we're not putting Cody in the mix. You do Roman, you do Sammy, you do Jay, and then you do Damian. Because Jay looks at Damian and goes, "Hey man, when you were dealing with all that stuff, I had your back. I need your help over here." And then we're even.
That means at that point, then somebody's going to call for somebody from the WWE is going to cost Jay on Monday, and then Jay's going to get his retribution at Bad Blood, and that's where they're going to say, "Hey, you owe me one."
Yep.
Okay.
And now, I don't get me wrong. Ideally, I want Jimmy back. I want Jay there, and I want Sammy there. I want an OG bloodline versus New Age bloodline. I think that is what we should get. I don't know if we are, but that's what we should get.
Mm-hmm.
When they did it,
I can see how we can find other combinations.
I'm gonna sit here in my home counting. No.
Well, I mean, Zilla is on his way in.
Right.
So, I mean, who's to say Sammy doesn't join? Who's to say, Zilla joins Solo and Jacob turns on Solo? Or you have Zilla join Roman. You have Jimmy J, Roman, Zilla.
Is he getting that good that fast?
I guess.
Zilla?
Yeah. The son of
He's down
Umaga.
there where you guys are at,
Huh?
right?
Yeah, I want to say he's world champion for Booker T's promotion. I could be wrong.
Reality of wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Zilla will not be.
But that means Cody's off of one of your biggest shows.
Everybody, pause.
No.
Everybody listen to me.
Shut up. Game Changer Wrestling 3 hours ago. Zilla Fatu will not be appearing on tonight's GCW event in Philadelphia or any GCW show for the foreseeable future. We tried our best to avoid this situation, but we have reached an impasse. We wish him the best.
That means you could not afford his money. There was a bigger offer on the table.
He is the current House of Glory Crown Jewel champion and the current Reality of Wrestling champion.
And then you already know ROW has that relationship with Booker T being in. And they see Booker wild for wearing them skinny jeans that I saw him wearing on NXT Tuesday night. Come on,
God.
Good.
Come on, player. Let them braids go too. Let them locks go,
Hold
player.
the hell up.
What?
So I've never heard of House of Glory Wrestling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to look it up.
Uh-oh.
Martian.
Do you know who owns? Jesus.
So who has more personality, Solo or Bachaloa?
You know who owns House of Glory?
Who?
Give me the first initial.
M.
Former wrestler?
No.
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson?
No. There ain't no way you pull this one out of your hat. You know it. You know who it is. You will never assume that they were associated with professional wrestling.
I give up.
So it was created by Amazing Red.
Okay.
It's owned by Master P.
Oh shit. Megan say,
But yeah.
Martian, yo, chill.
Yo, you got a problem, bro.
That man had 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Anyway.
We ain't talking about this on here.
We're moving on real quickly.
But he could join Roman to say he's tired of seeing, Solo and Jacob.
I still think somebody's turning on Solo.
It'd have to be Jacob. It's got to be Jacob. He's the closest one to him.
Yeah.
And it may happen ahead of time. It may happen night of. If it happens night of, it'll make him an instant star.
Yep.
Then, of course, you also saw who signed the Legends deal, right?
Yeah. I saw that. And that.
Did Papa sign the Legends deal?
No.
Oh.
Former manager signed the Legends deal.
Oh, Armando?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that
would work.
That would work stupid well
then if that happens, then I would say I would see. Like I feel like what's going to happen if
Paul
Jacob
on one side, Armando on the other.
Yeah, I feel like if Jacob turns, it's going to be because he doesn't. Now that the OTC is actually back at how he handles it, how he moves and handles his business, and he sees Solo doesn't do that, he's just going to be like, "Yo, like I can't follow you. You are not him. You see what I'm saying? Like you ain't it.
Yep.
You know, so
Get that 4-on-4. Give me.
Are they still going with the main event of Bad Blood, Punk and Drew?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know, man.
I think Gunther's supposed to defend, but I'm pretty sure the closing match is probably going to be Punk Drew.
Well, like at this point, the only thing Sammy can do outside of just kind of doing everything is just take out Kaiser, force Gunther's hand.
Well, I think that's the match on Monday night. It's him and Kaiser.
Yeah, he's going to have to boot 5 hell of a kicks, and then he could win the match. I'm not saying Haluva; it's a hell of a kick. Hitting with it 5 times. So, yeah, Kendrick said it's time for the party to end. Let's get back to some real. Let's get back to real. But no, I mean WWE's in a great spot, man.
I think
know we
they
haven't
are.
to really talk about anything else, but
I think AEW is a bigger dumpster fire now than ever.
Especially with Miro asking for his release.
Miro, they won't let go of Ricky Starks because they know where he's going.
And he would make money.
But see, the problem is these people are asking for their releases and wanting to go away because they have nothing for their people. Look at
they
Wardlow.
don't know how to use their people. You have what 5 hours of TV between Rampage, Collision, Dynamite, and you're seeing the same people. Don't get me wrong, you're gonna have your heavy hitters, but when Collision and all that shit first started, Rampage, you were seeing different talent, different storylines, and
then
now
what was supposed to be for?
Same trap.
Yep. I mean, now look, the whole first 5 years, 4 3/4 years of AEW, you didn't get count outs, you didn't get disqualifications. Now we're seeing disqualifications. You saw Dynamite, you're seeing people enter into the arena, a la WWE shots. Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's a giant cluster.
Yeah, and then I mean, listen, I wish I didn't even know Swerve was a free agent, for one. I didn't know he was.
How do you not have these guys signed?
Exactly, but
I don't even think Brian signed either.
He's not.
He's not. But the Swerve's getting like damn near Roman money now. And I'm not saying he's not worth it. I'm not going to be in another man's pocket. By all means, what you do.
Screw that. I'll say it. That man ain't worth it. I
wish he would. The WWE offer was out there, and he took the money.
That man.
I think he still got a. I think he still got a chip on his shoulder.
No disrespect to Swerve. I think he's talented. I don't think he's Roman Reigns money talented.
He's not. He could have. I think Roman Reigns is different. I like, for me right now, Roman Reigns is above The Rock. That I'm saying it. I'm like, for me as the greatest Samoan wrestler of all time, Roman's run was greater than any run The Rock had. He can't get there, but could he? In my opinion, could he have got to a Seth Rollins type level? Hell yeah, he could have got to a Seth level. And you can't do like whose house print, and he won 9-2. You see what I'm saying?
It's with and we've got it less than a minute, so we're gonna wrap this up here. But I'm gonna wrap it up very poignantly. That black sweatshirt wearing, daddy money having douchebag doesn't know what he's doing and will lose his company within the next 5 years. He will not make it to a 10-year anniversary. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank the OGP of A2D, Mr. Pete Evans, the mayor of Toasty Town Butters. I am Ritz. Tell somebody you love them. Peace, love, and joy. We are out of here. Eagles Saints this weekend. Is it an afternoon game?
It's 1 o'clock, and you're going to get the Eagles. You're going to see the Eagles get bludgeoned as they should.
Wait a minute, I might actually get to watch this game on regular TV in Texas.
You're going to watch a bully beat up their prey. That's what's going to happen, and I want to see it because I want the coach going. I'm sick of Sirianni. I said it.
It's amazing how the mighty have fallen. It's why I love this city. It's why I love this team. It's why I love this fan base. It's one of my favorite things to watch, how quickly we turn on others. But for that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We're out.